I want to call your attention to one of the weirder parts in the math class. So in your list, you see ceiling and floor. So in your book, if you look on page 31, here's a diagram of how ceiling and floor look. So I'm actually going to put a screenshot of that in OneNote because it's a really hard topic for people to understand, and it's one of the harder topics for people to just really get a grasp of. So here we go. So if you have like 1.4 and then you tell it to hit the floor goes down to 1. Tell it to go to the ceiling, it'll round up to 2. Now if you have like negative 1.6 and you say floor, it's going to go down to negative 2. And if you say ceiling, it's going to go up to negative 1. And you would think that with a negative, it would go opposite of that. But really, it just kind of climbs up the number line. So if you see ceiling and floor, just picture in your head a vertical number line, and ceiling is the top number. So come on back to Eclipse, and we're going to have a little floor and ceiling part. So in here, you would set up the ceiling like math.ceil. So it's not the full word, but you would put in the beginning of ceil. So we're going to do this for both ceiling and floor. And then we're also going to put it in 1.1. You could also set up a variable, it's 1.1, and put that in there. So if we hit run, nothing happened because we didn't print it. So let's set up a system out print, and we'll print can't hold us, plus, comma, plus, hit the, make sure to put in a semicolon at the end. Okay, so you see for ceiling it went up to 2, and for floor it went down to 1. Now if you put a negative in front of 1.1 in both of those, and then hit run again, it's the opposite. So if you're going to ceiling, it's going to go up and be more positive. Even though it's still negative, it's more positive, and that's more negative. So ceiling and floor are kind of a weird concept to grasp, so make sure that if you don't understand it, you kind of play with it a little bit until you kind of get a grasp of it. Okay, so I just made a little note. Next to ceiling, it rounds up to the next highest whole number, and floor rounds down to the next highest whole number. So while floor and ceiling force you to choose if you round up or round up or round down, you can also round. It's regular old rounding. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a double called right. Get it? Right round? Alright, so math.round, we're going to put in 2.6, and then we're going to print right. Okay, so now that we have that in there, go ahead and run, and it rounds up to 3, which is correct. If you said round 2.6, it would round up. You put in 2.4, it'll round down. So where ceiling and floor, you get to tell it to round up or round down, the round option in the math class makes that decision for you. And if you put a negative in front of that 2.4, it's going to round up to negative 2. If you had 2.6, round down to negative 3, which works the opposite of floor, but that's okay because you guys have a strong foundation of what ceiling and floor actually mean. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at is everybody's favorite thing, pi. So if you're going to be using pi, it's actually already programmed into Java. You don't have to set it up. I know last time we put it as a constant, but if you have, and you set it equal to math.pi, the math class calls on pi, and then you don't even have to give it a number. So then if you print vary, it's going to print you 3.14159.625 and so on. So you can just, if you set up pi like this, then you can use it everywhere. Okay, we're not going to do examples of this in this video, but I do want to show you that there are other methods in the math class that are log, which you probably remember doing. And actually, log doesn't mean log in Java. Log is base E, which means that it's really ln. You can also do the sine, cosine, tangent, arcsine, cosine, arctangent, and then you can go back and forth between degrees and radians. And you'll get to kind of play with these a little bit for your project, which is on page 33 of your book. It's called Compute This. So the sine and cosine have to be in radians, which means it's given to you in degrees, so you're going to have to use a math class to convert. And then use pi, use your addition, subtraction, and absolute value. And in here you're doing ln, which is log. So whenever you run these, this should be your answer for both of them. So you need to make sure that those answers come out correctly. You will also have some questions for lesson 6. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.